Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Hopefully everybody enjoyed yesterday's video where we talked about all the action that was week number 6 in the world of college football. So today we're going to be talking about the AP poll. Of course, the AP poll comes out every single Sunday. But before I get into the new AP Top 10, let me go ahead and say this. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again because as the channel continues to grow, we're going to have more and more people that are catching these videos for the first time. So let me explain that each week when I do the AP Top 10, I do my personal Top 10 as well. And the reason why I do that is because, to me, the AP poll is stupid. The coaches poll is stupid. All the polls are stupid. The only one that matters is the first week in November when the playoff poll comes out. I have always said, and I've always been of belief, that the first AP poll should not come out until October because too many teams get ranked based on their past history or what they might do later on in the year or their name brand. And to me, none of that should matter. You should get ranked based on how you're playing on the field on a week-to-week basis. So that's why every week when I do the AP Top 10 and give you what the AP poll looks like, I also give you my Top 10 because I do my Top 10 based on how you played that Saturday or Friday night, whenever you played. I don't care what you did last week, what you might do next year, who your quarterback is, your past history, your name, your conference. None of that matters. I rank teams based on how they play each and every week on the field, which is how it should be. My poll makes more sense. But we'll go ahead first and do the AP Top 10. It's Georgia, Iowa, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, Alabama, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Oregon, and Michigan State. And what's funny to me is all day long yesterday and some late Saturday night and then some Sunday afternoon, all I keep hearing about and reading about is how many people are shocked that Alabama lost to an unranked, pedestrian, mediocre football team and only fell to number 5. Now, should they have fallen further than number 5? Yes. But am I surprised they only fell to number 5? No. It's Alabama. They've got a brand name, like I was just talking about. Ever since Nick Saban's been there, it's been that way. As long as Nick Saban's going to be there, it's going to be that way. If there's ever a time where a 2-loss team is going to make the playoffs, it's going to be Alabama because they're Alabama. But that's just the way it is. It's a fact. So I'm not surprised at all that it happened. If you're surprised by it, something's wrong because this happens on a continuous basis year after year. When Bama loses, they never fall far because the playoff committee wants everything in the world to fall in their favor so they can still put Alabama in the playoffs. If Bama loses and falls to number 10, then there's too many teams above them that's got to lose for them to get back up there. But if they only fall to 5 or 6, well, after a couple wins, they're right back up in the top 4. Now, it doesn't matter because they're going to lose again before the season's over with, so they're not going to make the playoffs this year. But they're trying everything they can to keep them up inside the top 4, so I'm not surprised by it. But if you follow the channel, you know back before the season started when I was talking about how the 12-team playoff would be the death of college football, and I gave several reasons. I'm not going to discuss them now because it would take too long to discuss them again, but feel free to go back and watch that video if you do so choose. But one of the things I talked about in that video was if we go to a 12-team playoff, Alabama's going to go 7-5 and make the playoffs because they're Alabama. There'll be 10-2 teams get left out to put Bama in there because they're Alabama, and that's just the way it is. That's just a fact. It's not fair, but everybody should be used to it by now. It's not going to change as long as Nick Saban's there. This is going to be how it's going to be. If if Bama goes 9-3 this year, a lot of people are still going to vote them in the top 10. That's just the fact. But like I said, they're going to lose at least one more before the season's end, so they will not make the playoffs. As bad as everybody wants them to, they will not make the playoffs. Before I get into my top 10, let me go ahead and say for all you NASCAR fans out there that Kyle Larson won this past Sunday in Charlotte at the Roval. This upcoming Sunday will be race number 33 on the season, race number 7 inside the 10 races for the NASCAR Chase to the Cup Championship. The 4 drivers that got cut from championship contention this past Sunday were Kevin Harvick, Alex Bowman, William Byron, and Christopher Bell. This Sunday is the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 500 from Texas Motor Speedway at 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon. And if you have any thoughts on the Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick situation, please feel free to let me know. I think it's funny because as many years as I've been watching NASCAR, the sport's always better when there's 2 drivers, sometimes more than 2 drivers, but usually 2 drivers that are on the racetrack trying to chase each other down and wreck each other. It makes for very entertaining TV. But if you follow NASCAR, then you know 99% of them are not really going to fight. Even my wife, who very rarely even looks at a NASCAR race, can tell you, and she has seen enough to tell you, that most of these drivers, as she calls them, are pretty boys. You can look at them and tell by the way they talk and the way they dress that they're not fixing to fight anybody. Most of them get out of the car fussing with helmets on, like you're going to swing at somebody wearing a helmet. So they're telling you they're not really going to swing. And every single one of them knows where each driver lives. They could easily meet up at their house and fight if they really wanted to and not tell anybody. So it's clear that they're really not wanting to fight. But Kevin Harvick is one of probably 2 or 3 that I really believe would fight somebody. And he has the memory of an elephant. So he's not going to forget this whole thing with Chase Elliott. So if Chase Elliott is smart, he'll call Kevin Harvick and apologize as many times as he has to get Kevin Harvick convinced that he is sorry. Because Kevin Harvick will do everything he can to wreck him on a weekly basis. To me, it's very entertaining. I thought it was over Sunday when Harvick wrecked Chase. To me, it was clear. It was intentional. And at one time, he had actually knocked Chase Elliott out of the playoffs. But Harvick ended up wrecking in a separate incident later on in the race to take himself out of the championship contention. So Chase still has a chance. So don't be surprised if Harvick puts Chase in the wall again this Sunday if he gets close enough to him. And he'll do it every single week until he feels like it's over with. And I, for one, think it's very entertaining, very compelling television. And I'm all for it. Of course, NASCAR doesn't like it, but it makes the ratings skyrocket. Chase still has a chance to win the championship, but I don't think he will. But maybe I'm wrong. But don't be surprised if Harvick puts Chase in the wall this Sunday if they get close enough to each other. And I particularly would love it. Now on to my top 10. My top 4 is the same as the AP top 4. Georgia, Iowa, Cincinnati, Oklahoma. But then mine changes a little bit. I've got Michigan at number 5. I've got Alabama at number 6. Ohio State 7. Michigan State 8. Penn State 9. And I've got Oregon rounding out my top 10. So I pretty much have the same exact teams, just a different order. I really couldn't decide on who I wanted to put number 10. I had Oregon. I almost picked Oklahoma State, but at the last second, I picked Oregon. So I pretty much have the same 10 teams, just a different order. And I almost dropped Bama below number 6. But then I got to thinking, my opinion might change come November. But I think as of right now, if Bama played Ohio State, I think Bama would beat them. If Bama played Michigan State right now, I think Bama would beat them. So I think if Bama right now is better than Ohio State and Michigan State, then I've got to rank them ahead of Ohio State and Michigan State. But like I said, Bama's defense is not as good as it normally is this year. A&M has struggled all year long to score points. They put up 10 against lowly Colorado, and then they exposed Bama's defense Saturday and showed everybody what I've said since July, and that is that Bama's defense is not that good this year. And it's not a overall talent thing. Bama has so much talent that they're never going to have a year where they just don't have any talent. Let's not kid ourselves. But Bama always can have one position that lacks, and it makes the rest of the team vulnerable. And this year on defense, it's their linebackers. They just don't have very good linebackers. They've got a very good defensive front, and they've got a very good secondary, but they're weak at linebacker. So being weak at linebacker makes the rest of the defense vulnerable. So when I said their defense is not as good as it usually is, I wasn't talking about the entire defense, and I wasn't saying they have no talent on defense. I was just saying that their defense is not as good as it normally is, and it's because of the fact they don't have very good linebacker play. And linebackers is a key part of a defense. So if you're weak at linebacker, it's going to make you weak overall as a defense. So that's why I think their defense is not as good as it normally is, and that's why I think they'll lose at least one more game before the season's over. I don't know who it'll be to. I don't know when, and I don't know where, but they will lose at least one more game before the season ends. So if you have any thoughts on the AP poll, anything going on in the world of NASCAR or my top 10, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. What's the best food to eat before a workout? Mussels. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.